Good morning and welcome to the Daily Summation on the Kurt's Religion and Politics channel. Today is Friday, October the 2nd of 2020. And again, I wanted to wish you a good morning and hope that your day is going good so far. I wanted to say something real quickly, and it is that sometimes what I write about, and in fact what I speak about, it's hard to decide what I'm going to do, not because I don't have a lot of things that I can do, but in fact, often for precisely the exact opposite reason, and particularly when I speak, because I choose one of my two, typically blog posts in a day to write about, and sometimes both of them are equally compelling in my mind. So today I had to choose between talking about immigration in the United States, immigration policy and issues and so forth in the United States, and about global climate change. And I chose global climate change because I thought today that's probably the more important thing. So I'm going to talk, as I say, about global climate change. And I'm going to say, first of all, that I don't think it's entirely incorrect for people to have concern over global climate change. Look, when the climate of the planet changes, that's something that you want to know about and you want to be concerned about if it's something that you're actually affecting doing stuff with and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about that, and I'm going to point out a couple of things. The first thing I want to point out is this. We've been observing weather in meaningful ways for probably the last 250 years in any meaningful way. And that means that the amount of data, just the sheer amount of data that we have by comparison to the existence of the Earth. I don't care if you are a young Earth advocate or if you're a billions of years advocate, whatever it happens to be. The point is that the amount of data that we have at this point that we actually can work from is a drop in the bucket. It's a very, very small amount of information over the lifetime of the planet. And part of the point of that is that people have actually said that you could kind of compare, even if there's some issue in the data, even if it points to some issue, you could compare it to a sneeze or a hiccup. And quite frankly, that's probably being generous because it's probably a piece of a sneeze or a part of a hiccup, right? Because of the amount of time there has been that the Earth has been around and the amount of time that we've actually been doing measurement and watching all of that. Now, what makes all of this more interesting is then when you look at the data, there are some really questionable things that you find out, right? One is that the older data is not particularly accurate because the equipment that was being used for measurement wasn't particularly accurate in its ability to measure, in its granularity and so forth to measure. Secondly, of course, there's the issue that people might misreport or and not intentionally. I'm not saying that they do so intentionally, though that might happen as well. But the point is, they might just get it wrong. They might look at something and think that it's a degree warmer, degree cooler. They might look at the rainfall and say that there's more or there's less than there actually is, right? But to make all of this worse, okay, there are issues that have been reported, like, for example, somebody repainted a box that a thermometer was in, and they painted it a darker color, and it caused the temperatures that were reported by that thermometer to be higher. Or the box faded and it became lighter, and as a result, light bounced off of it, heat bounced off of it, and the temperatures became cooler suddenly. So that's another issue, right? But here's the thing. The question you have to ask yourself is man involved in climate change? And I think the answer to that question must be answered in the affirmative, that yes, that we are. But the first question is the degree, right? To what degree are we involved? Now, to the degree that we are involved, I think it's reasonable to say we ought to take actions to make sure that things are dealt with. But I want to point something out. When I was a kid in the 70s, cars belched smoke lots of times. Semi trucks, 16-wheelers, black smoke in a major kind of way. And this was all over the place. People were much less concerned about the climate. People didn't think about it, didn't worry about it. It wasn't a thing for them. But if you look at cars, if you look at trucks, if you look at various forms of transportation now, you'll see that there's a great deal going on to mitigate that and to make it so that it's substantially less effective in most of the more advanced countries. Okay? And that also applies other places. You've heard of Energy Star, I'm sure, right? You know that there are a bunch of initiatives by a bunch of folks to make things more efficient and work better. You know that people are doing things like electric cars, which I have my arguments against, but we're not going to get into that here because this is really designed to talk about climate change as a whole, and where I think they affect the climate in ways that aren't recognized. I don't think generally talking about electric cars is that big of a deal. Phones and so forth have gotten to the point where they keep battery charged for long periods of time by comparison. And the result is that we are actually trying to mitigate various things. And I think that whether there are regulations and so forth or not, we're going to continue to do that. That's something we're going to continue to do, right? So I think we are doing that. Now, I'd like to point out that I think that there are some areas where we're not nearly as active and doing as much as we ought to, and one is the amount of plastic waste that's being generated on a daily basis. I think it's excessive, and I think that that's something that we need to do something about, and I don't think anybody in their right mind would argue anything else was the case. Now, here's the thing though. If you look at the pollutants and so forth that are being put in the air at this point, you will find something that is interesting and unfortunate all at the same time, and it is countries like China are actually the major pollutants in the world today. It doesn't matter what climate accord they sign on to or what regulations apparently they put in place, they don't seem to be able to make it so that that's not the case. Another thing that I think we really need to talk about is the idea that people are constantly, people are crying doom as a regular thing. The klaxons are going off, the doomsayers are out there, and they're saying, oh, things are bad, things are bad. Now, I want to point something out that other people have pointed out before. I'm going to do it again now, just because it deserves a place at the table in this discussion, in this topic. And it is that people have been crying doom literally for, it's been most of my lifetime, 30, 40 years. They've been saying things. And they've consistently said things like, oh, if we don't do something about things in the next 20 years, the earth is going to become unlivable. Oh, 12 years, oh, 10 years, whatever. And they've said this over and over again, and they've made these predictions, and some of them are very, not precise, that's not the word I'm looking for. They're very specific predictions, and those predictions that they're making have not come true. In fact, virtually none of them have. You can literally look back at the record of what people have said in newspapers and print various places, on videos of various kinds, and you can go, oh no, the sea level really hasn't risen like they said it will. No, the temperatures on the planet have not really risen like they said they would. No, places have not become flooded. No, just various things. You can look at these various things and see that that's the thing. So, and then you look at the current stuff that they're saying. Well, you look at what they say in past with regard to how the temperature has risen, and they're talking about, 0.17% to 1.5 or something, I don't know, some ridiculously low range of increase, right? And then you look at what they're saying for the remainder of the 21st century, right? And you go, okay, so 10% is possible? Yeah, that's actually extreme, and almost nobody supports that idea. The very high end of what they support is, I think it's probably something around 3.1%, right? Which is not extreme, which is not horrible. And I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to try and wrap up. But the point is that if you look at what they're saying, the real numbers probably are more like 1 or 2 or maybe even 3%, right? Okay, so I want to wrap up because I'm running out of time and I don't want to get over 10 minutes if I can avoid it. The point is that a lot of the things that are currently being said about climate change, I'm pretty sure are at least questionable and really probably, not things that you should take all that seriously unless you start to see that the predictions people make are coming true. All right. As usual, if you like this video, you can click the like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you can do that, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble. If you can do a Rumble on Rumble if you like what you see there. You can, like I say, like on YouTube, and you can subscribe to either one. If you're doing that on YouTube, please remember, if you want to get notifications, you have to click that little notifications bell and tell it what kind of notifications you want to get. All right, you have a wonderful day, and I think it probably will happen that I will get the chance to talk tomorrow. That is Saturday the 3rd, and if I get that chance, I definitely will do that. But like I say, in the meantime, you have a good day, and hopefully your weekend will be a good one. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you again tomorrow, or at very latest on Monday. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more content from me of various kinds, you can go a number of places. One of those places is my blog, which is blogs.kpschubert.com. I have a Twitter, a Parler, and a Minds.com account, and my handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That is @kpschubert. You can also see my Facebook page, which is Kurt's Religion and Politics. I also have a YouTube account and a Rumble account, and have a channel on each of those. Again, it's the Kurt's Religion and Politics channel. And finally, if you want to support me, you can go to Patreon, and you can find me under Kurt's Religion and Politics there as well. Thanks again for watching this video, and have a wonderful day.